Sometimes you feel like you're at the end of your rope. Like all of your options have been exhausted and every resource you thought you had is pretty much faded out. There's nothing left. You're not even sure you're going to make it from paycheck to paycheck, from week to week. And that might not just be a financial thing. It might be an emotional or relational thing. It might be that your marriage has been on the rocks for a minute now. That relationship you've been trying to restore with your parents, that you've been dragging on for a long time, trying to get them to see things your way, and they've been trying to get you to see things their way, and you got nothing. You got nothing. No results. Now is the time, believe it or not, that you should give. You should give. I'm J Loren Norris with Leading Leaders Podcast. I know it seems antithetical. It's reality, though. It's a reality that the design of our universe abhors a vacuum. Think about it for a second. How many times in life you've scraped and you've dragged and you've pulled and you've tried to pull everything you can into your life in the way of emotional resources and job resources and financial resources and hope and happiness and joy, and you try to pull them into your life like a little kid trying to gather all the toys, and every time you reach for one other one seems to get away, and then somebody snatches one, and as you're trying to pull it all in, you realize how little control you have over any of it. And yet there's something in the reality that when there's a hole in the bottom, it creates a vacuum that everything else flows into. I'll give you a quick science experiment. I remember learning about this when I was a kid. They used to make Coke bottles in these big 3-liter bottles where the mouth of the bottle was about the size of a 50-cent piece. And I learned that if you take an egg, a regular chicken egg, and you soak it in vinegar overnight, it makes the shell soft until it dries out again. And when it dries out again, it expands back to its normal size. But while it's soft, it's kind of squishy and kind of bouncy and still a full, regular, unboiled egg. I also learned that if you heat up that bottle and then put the egg on top of it, that when the air inside the bottle cools, it creates a vacuum. And there's enough vacuum in that bottle that like a giant straw, it will actually suck that egg down into that bottle. It will force it to change shape until it comes through the top of that bottle and falls in the bottom. And because it's soft and squishy, it will bounce and stay at the bottom. And if you leave it there for 24 to 48 hours, you can later pick up that bottle and shake it, and the egg inside will break just like any other egg in the kitchen. But there's no other way to get it back out of the bottle. See, nature abhors a vacuum. When the vacuum is created, it sucks through it anything that it can. And in our lives, sometimes it's the hoarding, it's the collecting, it's the gathering, it's the reaching out to collect more of what we want that keeps us from getting something else. No matter where you are at this stage in life, no matter what it is that you feel like you're out of, whatever your resources are that are almost depleted, that you are near the end of giving up, give some away. And see if you don't create more space for a vacuum, for more new to come into your life that has never been there before, for new relationships, for more affection. We always talk about forgiving that person that's hurt us, that we have to be able to walk toward them a little further. If we just simply stand our ground in anger and in wrath and waiting for justice to get us what we want, until they come to us begging for apology to be accepted, until they come to us and say, this is what I did wrong to you. But see, it's when we forgive, when we give in advance. When we forgive by giving in advance our own rights, our own privileges, our own emotions, and we say, you know what? Our relationship is more important than the wound that I perceive. It's more important to me that we be okay than that I feel like I won. That's hard stuff to do. But if you will give emotionally, financially, spiritually, even if it's just volunteering your time. You're going to find nature abhors a vacuum. And what you give, it's coming back. You're going to leave an emptiness. You're going to leave a hole. And just like that big 3-liter bottle, it's going to suck in everything that's near it to fill the hole you left by giving. Give. Somebody else needs it a lot more than you do. And what's following it in your life will be tremendous. I'm J Loren Norris for Leading Leaders Podcast on Tell It Like It Is TV. Have a blessed day.